Welcome back, everybody. Let's dive into week 7 of college football season. Here with Sean, here with Drew. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. First game of the week, starting out on a new noon game. Should be a fairly easy one. We got Georgia on the road taking on Vanderbilt. This is gonna be a very easy game for Georgia. I got Georgia taking it, of course. Vanderbilt is the team that everybody thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. Georgia last week against Kentucky finally looked like the Georgia we all were waiting to see throughout the entire season so far. Everybody's humming. That's the first time I think we've seen Carson Beck come out in the beginning of a game, and he was straight humming. I mean, the balls were flying with confidence. The route running was very crisp. You got the run game involved early, and I don't know if it was more so of them, which I think it was, more so than it was a Kentucky team that just wasn't prepared for what they were going to handle in a night game in Athens. I'm not discrediting Kentucky. I think Kentucky proved a lot so far through their season as far as being able to run the ball and have a somewhat efficient offense. But I think Georgia, last week was just the week that Georgia kind of woke up and realized too they weren't really capitalized off of the talent disparity between the two teams. So that's why I think it'll be very interesting to keep an eye on Georgia, see if they can put a complete game together 2 weeks in a row, especially taking advantage of a very weak Vanderbilt team. But I got them winning it this week. What do y'all think?
You go ahead, Sean.
Oh yeah, easy win for Georgia. I agree with you, Van. I think Georgia, they did everything that they had been trying to do for the past 3 or 4 weeks and come out and play a complete game. It's unfortunate that Vanderbilt has to be the next opponent because they're just going to get legitimately squashed here at home. Vanderbilt offers zero resistance. And when I say zero, I mean zero resistance to Georgia. I got Georgia huge. It may be another 50-point, 50-3, 50-6, something like that. But they're going to be by the line is over 31.5 points. It's going to be much greater than that. I'm looking at about a 40, 45-point victory from Georgia. I'm looking at them also being able to get some players off the bench. Which they haven't really been able to do because some of their games have been relatively tight, especially the SEC games so far. I think Kirby Smart's going to be excited to get some players, some additional reps. So, yeah, I got Georgia real big.
I'm right there with both of y'all. I got Georgia winning this one like 48-17 to my score prediction. But to me, I think people really have to go back to Auburn week against Georgia. Auburn, they went to Auburn and they kept that game close to the fourth quarter. To me, Van, that's when Carson Beck woke the hell up. That's when he really found himself and really found what he had inside of him and really understanding that I could be the quarterback to lead this team. Because to me, I thought it was like kind of a confidence issue throughout the latter part of the season where he just wasn't making the type passes that I know the Georgia team has seen him make. But this week right here is going to be extremely easy. My biggest thing for Georgia is don't lollygag through this game. This has to be another execution first quarter all the way through the fourth quarter because this is pretty much one of their last cupcake games of the season. Georgia's back end schedule, I think, is going to be pretty tough for them. And I think overall, this right here cannot be something where we're looking forward to it and start out lollygagging. Because if you take any issues in this week going into the rest of your season, Georgia, you're going to have some issues. So I really want to see them just keep on top of everything, keep rolling, because we saw the team old last week.
Right. Because like you said, Drew, on the back end of that Georgia schedule, you got to face some high-powered offenses in Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee right now. So that's going to be real interesting for them to go ahead and get that rolling.
And even with that, they got some tough couple road games too. They got to go to Tennessee. They got to go to the Swamp. Those right there are going to be really interesting games to me. And I think that when they face Ole Miss, that's what I really want to see Lane Kiffin. I think that's what he's expecting his whole season on right there. He already got one big win against LSU. Can he come back and beat Georgia's going to be a huge standpoint. So Georgia cannot sleepwalk for the rest of this season. They definitely cannot sleepwalk.
That's right. All right, moving on to the next game, another noon game. We got Alabama at home taking on Arkansas. I'm taking Alabama in this game. I think it is going to be another maybe a low scoring game. I'm interested to see how Arkansas responds from the standpoint of if you're Arkansas, you've lost what 4 out of your last 5 and 4 straight. So this would be 5 straight losses if you drop this one to Alabama. I don't think they have the talent to compete with Alabama, especially with your offense going against Bama's defense. I think the Bama's defense is just be too much for them. Don't get me wrong, I like KJ Jefferson, but you really haven't seen what he looked like last year coming into this year. It kind of just like they took a step back. Maybe they lost some talent on that offensive end. Maybe losing their offensive coordinator was a bigger chunk than what a lot of people expected it to be. But I'm really just not in favor of this Razorback team. But another thing, their last 2 games against A&M and against Ole Miss were close games. But I tell you what, just being that Arkansas has not had a bye week yet, to kind of go back to the drawing board and put some things together is just going to be a negative effect on them in this game. I think Bama's going to roll in here. They're going to be ready. Bama's won 4 straight now. They've got their mojo kind of kicking. They've kind of figured out who they are now. And I think they'll go at home especially and go ahead and get this Arkansas team out of the way before you have to go on and take Tennessee on at home next week. They don't want to play around with them, get this game over with, get the backups in there, start game planning for Tennessee next week, and get that revenge game lined up. So I'm taking Alabama in this one.
Yeah, same here, man. This is more about Alabama than it is Arkansas. It's unfortunate that Arkansas is having their struggles this season. Their schedule doesn't lend them any more favors either. But like I said, it's about Bama, man. What I saw this past week from Tommy Rees and Jalen Milroe was more confidence in his ability to throw the football. And I really think they have to do that. Regardless of what the outcome is, they need to treat deep balls like punts, man, because the defense is so good. You got to be able to show the defense that you're playing against that you will and can throw the ball to open up the run. We've seen the run game be a little lackluster the past couple of weeks. Hopefully, taking, chunk passes and throwing the ball down the field, the mid-range passes, the long passes, whatever the case may be, will get that defense to back up a little bit so the running game will work. This offense is designed, even though it didn't look like it in the beginning of the season, it's designed to be balanced, okay, with the run and the pass, because you don't have Bryce Young back there that can lead from the pocket. So as long as they continue to work on those things, this game will not be a problem. I do think Arkansas they're not going to come in here and just fold, right? They are a wounded dog that's backed into a corner right now, and they're not going to let Bama just sit there and beat up on them. But by the time the clock hits 0, Bama will have won this game by 21 points. So I got Bama real big.
Got you. I'm right there with both of y'all. Like, it's the same exact thing Sean said. This is way more about Bama than it is about Arkansas. Arkansas is the biggest disappointment to me of the SEC this year in regards to this conference. And it's something I don't think anybody foresaw. So for that reason right there, I don't even want to talk about the answers. We're going to move on to Bama because I think that's what we're really here to talk about. So to me, this game right here will be interesting, though. I think Bama has to clean up its act. I'm seeing a lot of things. I'm a huge Bama fan. I watch this game so strategic, and I'm seeing Bama put together a championship defense. Now, that's something I've been saying for a couple of weeks on this podcast right here. Bama's defense is real. Now, they have to stay healthy. We got a couple of injuries last week I want to see back on the field in a couple of weeks for Tennessee. But to me, Bama cannot have those same offensive penalties going for the rest of the season. We've got to clean that stuff up. To me, I don't think that – the reason why I say it is because I don't think Jalen Milroe can overcome those when we get to the better opponents down the line. Texas A&M, to me, didn't have the true offensive identity. And what I mean by that, the starting quarterback wasn't there. So you're kind of trying to find pieces on how that second-string quarterback's going to fit into the role. But to me, they still kind of got us on our heels a little bit through that game, the Texas A&M game. Arkansas is not going to have the firepower to do that same thing, but Tennessee will. So this has to be a cleanup game for Bama and say, I want to be as efficient as possible, and I want to be as well-oiled machine as I possibly can going into next week. Keys to this is going to be, I really want to see Jalen Milroe continue to throw the ball well. Last week, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit to what his true potential could be on a great day. but we cannot go in there with all these penalties or turnovers. So to me, I got Bama. If I want to do an exact score, I'm trying to go more exact scores. I want to do 42 points offense, and Arkansas is going to 24. So I got Bama win this one significantly. But to me, I don't want to see a whole bunch of penalties.
Gotcha. Do you think this game will fall more? And just to get a little bit more into it, we don't have to dive too deep into this Bama game. Do you think this will be more so of a game, kind of like when Bama went to play Mississippi State, or do you put them in the same Arkansas in the same bracket as Mississippi State, or you think that Mississippi State's a better team than Arkansas?
Me personally, I think Mississippi State's a little bit better team than Arkansas right now, just because I think they know what they want to do. I don't really see what Arkansas is trying to get done when they're on the field. I feel like they just be out there calling random plays. But to me, Bama just overall needs to continue to show their dominance in this type of game. And Nick Saban got in their ass a couple weeks ago, which is something I feel like we needed to see. They kind of got excited about that win last week and put it all together on the road, which was huge. Coming back home, we got to be a full team, a full expectation team because going for the rest of the year. So I'm right there with you. I think it's more of Bama just not being on the same level as these type of teams. Mississippi State was the type of team we don't know what they had, so they could have shocked us. Arkansas, we know exactly who they are. Bama, we know exactly who they are. It shouldn't be anything close at all. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, man, this season is setting up very well for Alabama. The next 3 games are at home. Granted, they're not the easiest games in the world. I mean, you get past Arkansas, your next 2 aren't going to be the easiest thing in the world, but you are in the confines of Bryant-Denny Stadium. Exactly what they need. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like they're getting, they fought and they clawed through what we would call some treacherous time with a loss to Texas and a subpar showing in Tampa against UCF, but man, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. This is exactly what Nick Saban needs them to be right now. You're right. You got to limit the turnovers. You got to limit penalties and whatnot. I think Jalen Milroe is going to be good for throwing the ball to somebody that other team every game. I think he's going to do it once. He got to limit it to one time, and that pick cannot be a pick 6. We got to allow the defense to come back on the field and get the ball back. I don't mind the turnover with the defense being as solid as it is right now. I feel pretty good about Bama. I think they probably should be in the top 10 right now. I think that's gonna shake itself out. We got a couple of games, especially the Oregon game we'll talk about a little later, which is gonna knock somebody out of the top 10. I think Bama can jump into the top 10 this week with a win at Arkansas. So I think our momentum is good. I think Miss Terry is also fired up. I think she'd have lit a fire up under Nick Saban's ass a little bit, and some of these players too. So hey, they pulling out the whole National Guard for this season. And right now, it's doing what it need to do. So we'll see. But let's go. Let's roll them tide. Roll them up.
I got you. All right, moving into the CBS 3:30 slate, the primetime slate for the SEC for their last season with the CBS. We got Tennessee at home taking on Texas A&M. This game, to me, right now, it's a 3.5 point line as of Tuesday night. It's interesting to me for this game because these are 2 teams, in my opinion, that are both high-scoring teams, but it seems like more so Tennessee has found out who they want to be more so than Texas A&M has through this season right now. The game against South Carolina, you get your full O-line back. I know they're missing their center for a while. But I'll tell you what, this Tennessee team, they can run the ball, they can throw it. You gotta Joe Milton, in my opinion, has to cut down on the turnovers. You got 2 versus South Carolina. In addition to only 1 touchdown, quote unquote, pass. But I'll tell you what, this game has the potential to be a very high scoring game. I don't know who it'll favor if it turns into a high scoring game, but I'll tell you what, this D line for Tennessee is the truth. And I witnessed it firsthand watching that game. And for A&M, who doesn't really have a run game, and you turn them into a one-dimensional team, I think that's a dangerous combination to go into it. Right now, I'm picking Tennessee to take this game, but the biggest factor in me picking Tennessee to win this game is the fact that you got this game at home. I don't trust Texas A&M outside of College Station. I trust Tennessee at home more than I would trust Texas A&M as a team as a whole. So I got Tennessee taking this one. What do y'all think?
So, man, I'm so perplexed with A&M. They've got talent down there.
Yes.
They got talent. They've been recruiting at a very high level ever since Jimbo Fisher's been there. I have no choice but to think or to believe that Jimbo Fisher is just not the guy. I've said it many times. We've talked about it many times. They're doing exactly what I expect them to do. But it's a shame. It's really a shame. They should be better than this. I'm going to watch this game very closely because I'm really interested to see what Tennessee really is or who they really are. Like you said, they kind of seem like they know who they want to be. A&M's got a good defensive line. I think A&M has a more serviceable quarterback. I think they got a good tight end. They're good in spots. They're just not coached very well. They're not coached very well. And it's sad to say for the guy, Jimbo's won a national championship, you know? Very well respected. Comes from a coaching tree that just does nothing but breed nothing but great coaches. I just can't quite figure it out. I'm going to have to go with Tennessee in this game. Only the main reason is because Tennessee is at home.
Mm-hmm. And coming off the bye.
Yeah, coming off a bye, you know, but I don't know what either of these teams really are. A&M showed me that they had a lot of heart against Alabama, but they were also at home. You know, they had every chance to win that game. They were up at halftime and, you know, let Bama back in. I just don't believe, man. I don't believe. I got Tennessee by 10.
I got you. All right. Somebody stirred the pot a little bit. This one, I don't know about my prediction. I'm still mulling over in my head right now, but I'm going to talk myself one or the other way. So to me in this game right here, I thought last week for Texas A&M was we had a great first half, but Bama's second half adjustments are a killer for everybody right now. And I think that's something that has to show in the front for this game. So I think Tennessee does not have that same capability. So two things for this game right here. Texas A&M, I think if they get off to a fast start and get warm in this game, it could be trouble for Tennessee. And second thing is I want to see if Tennessee, Joe Milton can handle the pressure of this defense. Because I think they're going to bring the house to Tennessee. Because I think that's the only way they can really get them off platform is because Tennessee is really going to try to look at the deep, try to be conservative. They're going to be not conservative. They're going to try to be balanced in the aspects of running the ball quick, throwing the ball deep on Texas A&M. Because to me, Texas A&M's weakness is on their back end. So those big 2 points, understand those 2 points right there, I think Tennessee should be favored. But as you say, if Jimbo Fisher was to ever get a win that's going to make his season look different, this is the time to do it. I think Tennessee's overall too overpowered to where they're amazingly going to be a home team. I don't think that's going to happen in there. But to me, it's going to be about true star power in this game right here. And to me, I think Texas A&M has the better star power. So can they put together a full game is going to be something that we really got to be able to understand. To me, I think that they can. Why? Is because they kind of maybe had a sour taste in their mouth coming off Bama. Can they back off from that? But overall, I think that Tennessee's defense is not going to be able to stop them in the pass game. That's why I don't think they have to run the ball in this game right here. If they offensive line can hold up, they can really throw the ball 30 to 40 times against Tennessee, and I think they can still come out with the win as long as they don't turn the ball over. What I saw last week was Texas A&M folded because of pressure on that quarterback in the second half. Can Tennessee get the same type of pressure to throw him off? I really don't think so. So I think in this game right here, I got Texas A&M by a late field goal as a walk-off field goal. And I think that's how this game's going overall end. It could be a shootout or it could be a low-scoring game, but I think a field goal is going to be the difference. And I got Texas A&M bringing the shocker to the Ball Stadium.
I hear you. All right, next game up, we got South Carolina off the bye at home taking on Florida. I think this right here, and for being my team, I think this is when South Carolina's real season begins. Everybody knew coming into this season that first slate of games were going to be brutal. You got Tennessee on the road. You've got North Carolina, who's a highly ranked team. You got at Georgia. You held serve in the sense of getting the 2 wins that you had to have in that stretch, which was Furman and Mississippi State. Those were your must wins in that stretch, the whole serve for the back half of the season. Make it to your bye, make your adjustments, which I believe they have, because the last 2 seasons under Shane Beamer, this team has looked like a completely different team after the bye week. The year 1 with Shane Beamer after the buys, when we played Florida at home, the night game where we absolutely drubbed them at home. And in the following year, last season, we had the bye week where everybody was in shambles. Everybody was wondering if this is the right team, what's wrong with the team. And then you come at home and you finally get your first win against Texas A&M at home last season in the night game at Willie B. Home games for Shane Beamer are crucial. He's only lost 3 in his time here. And on top of that, Billy Napier, I don't believe, is the guy at Florida. And Sean, you've mentioned this time and time again. And Billy Napier, in his tenure, I'll tell you what, the last 14 away games for Florida, they've only won 1. They are 13-14. I mean, they've lost 13 of their last 14 games away from the swamp. So they're very much a home team, which is something that's becoming a trend right now in the SEC if you're not a top dog. But what South Carolina has to look forward to or try to stop in this game is the rushing attack of Florida. That's what caught Tennessee slipping. They got those running backs going. They're not very explosive with their offense as far as Florida, but they will chip and dink and dunk you down the field to beat you. You can't let their offense start rolling and get going like that, and then you will find yourself in trouble. I don't believe in Florida's defense whatsoever. Their secondary, I sent y'all a clip over the weekend where they tied that game up when the corner just kind of was like, oh, well, he called it. I'm going to just let him go for 75 yards and go score. I think this is going to be a huge game for Spencer. Get back on track, get the momentum kind of rolling back under his sails after you had the outing in Tennessee, which it seems like in Shane Beamer's tenure, you get one of those absolutely just dumbfounded games away from home where you don't know what happened. And I think it was last season, it was the Florida game, and then we came back at home and we were like a completely different team against Tennessee. And then this year, it looks like you just went to Tennessee, kind of forgot who you were, called the game a wash, and now we'll see what you turn into this week. I do believe that their running attack will finally get going this week with Mario Anderson. He's been promoted to the #1 back. I think he's a certified running back. I understand you want to pay homage to DK, to Dakereon Joyner, and want him to get touches because he's been with the program for so long. But if you're trying to get wins in the SEC, you got to go with the guys who are ready to play and understand the position that they are trying to play. And Mario is one of those guys. Let him run the ball. Let him be the #1 guy. And go out there and get and do what he's supposed to do. I think the defensive line is finally getting healthy for South Carolina. You're getting some guys back. Juice is looking like he won't be available for this game, but it seems like they're saving him to go to Missouri next week. They want him to take the extra week, get healthy. So you have him and Leggett next week at Missouri to try to go get that game. But I got South Carolina winning this one. The line right now is at 2, a 2-point favorite. But I think being in Willie B, this South Carolina team flourishes at being in Williams-Brice Stadium. And I think I'm marking it down as a must win. If you want this season to be a success, you got to win this game. You got 2 tough road games, and you finish out the whole rest of the season at home. But you got to start off with this one. This needs to be a new team. You got to turn the page over and get back to playing South Carolina football. And I think they do it this weekend.
You're muted, Sean.
Carolina has done something that a lot of teams have not done this season. They played 3 ranked teams already. Okay. Now, granted, they've lost those games, but they have been in big games that matter. Now, Florida is not the likes of, I wouldn't even say North Carolina. They're definitely not the likes of Georgia. I don't even think Florida's on Tennessee's level, to be honest with you. So, yes, this is absolutely, with the game being at home, only thing that could be better about this game is the game could be at night. It's 2:30 Central Time kick, but Willie B is going to be rocking. the team, they seem to just follow the crowd. I personally think Shane Beamer is a really, really, really good coach. I think the injury bug is hurting him right now. He needs depth, but they're good enough to knock Florida off at home. I got Carolina by 10 over Florida at home. Let's go, Cocky. Let's do it.
So to me, this one right here is interesting. I think Van, made some amazing points about this game. You think about what it means for South Carolina. To me, this game right here is their season. And what I mean by that is it's either going to teeter the right way or you're going to teeter the wrong way. Those two games coming up at Missouri and at Texas A&M are not going to be easy just for the overall factors of what those teams' defenses look like for going against South Carolina's offense. But looking at this game in particular, it is a true must win. And I'm thankful that it's at home for Carolina. If it wasn't at home, I'd be worried about it. But being in William Bryce Stadium, I've been there for the game. And I know how much these fans are going to be going crazy, even at 3:30, Sean. This is the time of year where South Carolina and Columbia, they're loving it. It's almost fair time. It's starting to be cool outside. These boys are going to be drunk by 12 o'clock. So this game by 3:30 is going to be off the hinges and what the atmosphere is going to be. And I think overall, South Carolina has the team to get it done. But to me, the true key point in this game is going to be two things for South Carolina. You have to start fast. You cannot give these boys hope and let them get in this game, go up on y'all early at your home stadium. That right there would spell disaster for me early for South Carolina, which I don't think that's going to happen. And the second thing is you have to dominate the trench battle. So much of South Carolina's success depends on their offensive line. And to me, like you said, Sean, the injury bug hitting them, but their offensive line depth is something I don't even think they have a piece of. Right. So this true offensive line right here is going to have to hold up, and it's going to have to hold up against some big boys in Florida that's going to be ready to get at Spencer. Spencer Rattler has all the possibility to win this game, and it's going to be on his back to win this game. He's going to have to go out there and put on a 295-yard, 300 passing yard game at home, and I think he has the talent to do it. My biggest worry about this is them just starting slow. I see this time of year for South Carolina trending in the right directions and trending in the wrong directions, and it starts off with momentum. If they got the momentum, this team's going to skate by this game. I got them right there with you, Sean, as a 10-point win. I got a 31-21, but I got overall South Carolina jumping out early to a 2-touchdown lead early in this game in the first quarter. That's going to kind of coast them for the rest of this game. But overall, Florida, you do got to get your chin straps buckled because this game's not going to be easy, and y'all don't have any easy games for the rest of y'all year. So overall, Florida's going to be fighting, like you said, against the Arkansas. They're going to be a hurt dog looking to bounce back against South Carolina. They think they can win this game. I think Florida truly believes they can, but if it was on the road, I don't think South Carolina can pull it off. Being in William Bryce, I think fans are going to get that will to win in them boys in that locker room.
Yep. It's Cocktober, as we call it around here.
Ah.
Hey.